my roommate to talk about as well. I need to talk about Darla. Darla is a former roommate and dog. Not like a dog. She was to be honest, she was barely a dog. So she was a Pomeranian, a cute little fluffy thing, but she had canine alopecia. So she had this big fluffy head and then no hair below her neck. So big fluffy head, little rat body. It kind of looked like a hand, actually, just crawling around. And she had a collapsed trachea as well, so she couldn't really bark. It was more just like a hacking. Terrible breath, like even by dog standards. And I don't know how many teeth a dog is supposed to have, but I know it's more than 11 because at one point she had 11 rotted teeth yanked out of her mouth. So, really, Darla's existence was an affront to Darwinian evolution. And sometimes I would be at home with Darla, I'd find myself looking at her, and I'd think to myself, she'd be wheezing all the time. That used to be a wolf. Humans took this and deliberately, over thousands of generations, genetically engineered Darla. An animal that needed special stairs to climb on the furniture. An animal that needed to wear needed to wear clothing in the wintertime. So she had this little wardrobe of her own. And when I think about that, the election makes a little more sense to me. There was always this strange time of year in the spring when the weather started to get warmer, where Darla wouldn't have to wear clothes anymore. And I would actually feel, this is like the vestige of my Catholic guilt sort of creeping in, I'd feel like uncomfortable looking directly at Darla in her like natural form again. It's like I have guests over, like, oh, this is a living room. Darla, I told you we would have guests tonight. I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry. Terrible guard dog, if you can imagine that. She, her eyesight and hearing was not really as any much better than ours, and so if she heard something, she was usually in her bed in her master's room. She'd just give a couple feeble barks, and the weird part was that she wouldn't sort of position herself like I've seen other dogs and cats do this in like a strategic place where she could see the entrance and egress and like down the hallway. She would sit in her doggy bed facing the wall because I'm not joking, it was less stressful for her. So if she heard something, she'd just sort of be like, and just go back to it. The thing that she would get out of bed for is obviously when her master would come home. She loved Christine, and so she'd hear the key in the door and the door open, and Darla would come scampering out. And we had one of those apartments in Astoria where like the stairs sort of led up and just into the apartment. And she'd run to the top of the stairs, and Christine, her master, had to put in a mat because Darla couldn't stop on wood floors, and so she just sort of skid right off into the stairwell. It's like, and
I'll get it.
I'm busy. And not a bright dog, obviously, so she would do this for everyone, assuming it was Christine every time, even if Christine was home. So I would come home, I would put the key in the lock, I would hear Darla and come running to the stairs, and I'd open the door, and I'd look up, and I'd see Darla, and Darla would be looking down at me. And Pomeranians have very expressive faces, right? And so she'd be excited, and she'd sort of be like dancing in place, and she'd look down, and she'd have like this big grin on her face, and then she'd see it was me and not Christine, and I just so clearly saw her face drop and like disappointment creep in, and she'd be like, this fucking guy again, and she just sort of fucking just wander away. And so every day, think about that, every day I'd come home to the look of disappointment on the face of this little defective dog. That's what it's like.